All right, welcome guys. Dan Hunt here, and I'm here with
Trisha Clint.
How are you guys? We're excited about this. As you guys can see, this is a different format. We're going to be launching, this is actually the pilot of a podcast that we're beginning to do, where we just want to dive into some different trainings that we're doing, different aspects of the development that we're doing, and then really just be another resource for you guys, especially within 15, 20 minutes of maybe a drive to the center that you can jump on, listen to, and even ask questions. That's going to be a big piece of this. Let us know what your questions are so we can begin to dig into this. And then the other piece with this too is that we want to go to the centers and we want to see what's the great work that you're doing and bring some of you guys on here and just have a conversation. What's going well? What are you doing in the classroom? We want to highlight the great work you guys are doing.
Connection.
Absolutely.
Let's
Absolutely.
Connect.
And so we thought this would be a great idea that you can engage with this. You can listen to it on your way to work, 10, 15 minutes, just bite size. As we know, it's very difficult to get out and have all these trainings, especially in team meetings. And we wanted just to provide another avenue for you to engage with that. So
within your time frame, something that you can do on your own.
Absolutely. So we're excited for this. Welcome to the pilot. If you have any suggestions on what we should call it, we still have. We don't have a name for it. So we have the curriculum corner. We have the spark about our core values, our quarter focus. But we don't have one for this podcast. So if you have something, please let us know. That could be the first engagement and feedback.
I like it. We'll do a contest.
There you go.
I'll give some stuff away.
Yeah, maybe another book like you did with the curriculum corner.
Books, I got it. Yeah. We'll get it away.
We'll have to shout out. Somebody did. Who was the one that already got back to you about the curriculum?
Lynn.
All right.
Lynn in Hesperia.
Let's go. Way to go, Lynn. Cool.
Way to watch.
Yeah. So we thought this first episode, we really wanted to dive into relationships, right? And as we're moving forward and really trying to highlight and maximize relationships, that's core to who we are, and what we do well, but we want to keep doing it well because we know it's the foundation of learning. We wanted to dive into, how to create relationships, where these relationships start, in ways that maybe you have seen it and even experienced it within the classroom with relationships. So I would love to just, with your experience, maybe start out talking about how has relationships really impacted the classroom? How have you seen them show up and really maximize engagement and belonging and even learning in your time?
So one thing that you know for sure is that if you came into a room or any room, whether you're 5 years old, 25 years old, 35 years old, if you don't make a connection with somebody in that classroom, you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. So one of our main goals is making sure that all of the little people that come into our classrooms or buildings feel comfortable. They feel loved, they feel safe. That maybe is not going to happen right away, but just making sure that you're greeting them and saying hi, just letting them know that, hey, that's somebody that I can talk to. Mm-hmm. I am super uncomfortable being on video, but I have built that relationship where he's kind of pulling me in and out of this comfort zone, but I know that it's a safe spot in that because I'm sharing something that I have a passion for, that you're going to want to listen to it. Yeah. Just being there. You can work the opposite way too. If you're putting off the vibes that I'm not having anything to do with this, then your classroom relationship, whether it's with the little people or the other adults in your classroom, is going to be completely negative, and that's just toxic and not awesome for anybody. Yeah,
absolutely. Have you seen in your experience and just being in classrooms, as you've gotten intentional, you've built relationships, I'm sure it's been challenging at times, but have you ever had an experience where a little one is presenting certain behaviors and we're like, what the heck's going on? But through you really developing that relationship, creating what I would say the sense of belonging and sending those cues, that you developed a relationship where those behaviors may be minimized or they spread apart or they weren't as active or frequent. Did you experience
absolutely,
that?
For sure. In fact, just the last couple of years, we had a little friend in our preschool classroom who he was absolutely not having any part of any of our group time activities. He was not having anything to do with me just talking. But there came a point where I just let him wander around during group time and just let him do his thing. He was hearing everything that I was saying, and we were communicating that way. So I made sure during group time I was still talking to him, even though he was walking around the classroom. But just him knowing that, hey, this is okay, she's going to let me do this, then he would start to migrate over to me a little bit. I didn't force the issue. when he got super angry, because he did have those super big emotions and big feelings, I let him do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't let him destroy the classroom,
Right.
but I took him to a space where he could
Sure.
get that energy out and you do some heavy work and something.
Yeah.
And then he was willing to talk to me. So
Yeah.
over the course of a couple of months, it took a couple of months.
Yeah.
But we formed that bond.
Yeah.
He was my best friend. He was hugging me, and he did not hug anybody. So
Yeah.
I was like, gold star, Mrs. Kwan. That
Those,
was a good
those
one.
are those wins.
That
Those
was
are
a
those
win.
wins that we
was
don't
a
always
win.
get. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the thing that popped out to me and you sharing that was like the idea of future orientation. He knew that even though these things were happening, that Miss Tricia is gonna still be there. She's still gonna be my friend. She's still gonna be a safe place. Like there wasn't a disconnection, or there was always like this future. There could be a connection, or I'm still safe here.
Right. And on the opposite end, I've seen it where sometimes you get those ones that will sit right there in your heart, but also you have those little ones who you're like, I just can't reach this child, or maybe a coworker can't reach them, and they are immediately, those behaviors start the second they walk in.
Yeah.
But they were able to find a connection with another adult in that classroom.
Sure.
So just even one person in that room, he had a safe space, a safe person.
Yeah.
And he was able to finish out the year in a safe and comfortable way.
Yeah.
So it worked really well for that situation.
And I would just encourage you guys, something I'm hearing right now is that you might not be able to connect with every single one. And there's other people within the center that can create those connections. And that's why a team matters.
And it's okay to admit that.
Yeah.
That maybe you're just not jiving with this human, and there's something that's you're just not compatible, and that's okay. You're not going to be compatible with everybody, but you still have to learn to find those cues that, hey, he's getting a little escalated here. Maybe you could step in here without causing a huge distraction and making it uncomfortable for him or you.
Yeah. How do you think schedules really played into that, especially with the other kids even, as this kiddo was maybe adverse or like outside and not really wanting to follow as much? I just have this thought that I keep coming back to, that, our schedules really create the space for us to be intentional.
Yeah.
And so, with that schedule, how did that impact with that consistency and things like that?
Well, being consistent was like the biggest thing. And your schedules are going to vary from day to day, but every day you're going to do this between this time and this time, or every day you're going to have lunch between this time and this time.
Yeah.
So there have been occasions where that particular little person would know, hey, snack time's coming up, so I'm just going to throw my chair across the room.
Yeah.
So we made sure that he knew, first we're going to do this, then you can do this. So eventually he was able to help have that autonomy in the classroom where he would read, I'm going to do this now, and then we'll be able to move on to the next thing. So having that schedule is super important as far as he knew what to expect next. And it diminished that behavior where I don't have the time to throw the chair. I got to eat my snack or I'm going to miss out. So, just those small little cues that he was able to understand and read what was coming next.
Absolutely.
So, and I used picture ones, which I've been encouraging everybody. So at this point, he could go over to the schedule and be like, I'm going here where so-and-so was at. So he was able to read it in his mind and also place it in front of him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hearing you said autonomy, like he had some ability, some freedom, some options where he wasn't there wasn't resistance. There wasn't a power struggle. You didn't find yourself in power struggles. And then I'm also hearing the consistency, like he began to feel safer and safer, right? And the environment became safer, people became safer, and then the connections, like that was the space that probably allowed you to lean in and really build connections.
Yes, huge connections. And again, it was not overnight. It was not yesterday he did this and today he did that. It was constant building, and which takes time and patience. So
absolutely. Yeah. If there was any encouragement for staff that are listening to this, that maybe have that student right now, what would be that encouragement that you would give them?
Find something that little person feels is super cool, whether it is a stuffed animal or a character or a specific color, then own it. Own it. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Bring it into their lives, and maybe even on your own time, watch that that character, or do a little research on it, just to bring that immediate connection in, so that during redirection time you can bring up, hey, I saw.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know any characters anymore.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I saw Spider-Man did this the other day. Are you able to do that? Or just start small.
Yeah.
And if that's all you can do that day, that's all you can do, or in that minute.
Yep.
Come back to it.
Yep. That's
Maybe.
great. Yeah,
That's
thanks
what
for
I have.
sharing that. I think,
For sure.
encouraging you guys, just one action, right? One step, keep moving forward. Development is about taking information, applying, and learning again. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep.
And thanks for sharing that. And
Yeah.
we want to just open up to you guys. We want to come to your center. We want to talk to you. What are things that you're doing? We want to highlight those things, right? How do you see these things at play? And if you have a question that you would love for us to dive into, to process through, to unpack, we'd love to hear that. So, please let us know. You can email us, maybe on the Clubhouse Connect, where I think we're going to actually post these. You can put in comments down there. We're going to keep building that out. But we look forward to continuing to shoot these, coming and seeing you guys and
Can't wait
highlighting
to
the
see
great.
your classrooms.
Yeah.
Seeing amazing things in the classroom, and I've already seen some picture schedules up in the classroom, so
Yeah.
it's pretty fantastic.
Awesome. We hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to shooting another one and coming to see you.
Great work.
Awesome. Thanks.